Here's a question. When was the last time you had an arm wrestle? For most people, arm wrestling is just a way to show off your strength at school or in a bar maybe after a few drinks, rather than being seen as a competitive sport. But according to the Ultimate Arm Wrestling League, the discipline has a history dating back more than 4,000 years. Tom Goggle from Oxford Arm Wrestling came onto the show actually at the start of the year to encourage people to take up the sport. And since then, wow, the club has seen a surge in new members and has established themselves in the UK competitive scene. I'm pleased to say Tom joins me now to tell us a bit more about how the group are doing. Good to have you back, Tom.
Hello, Adam. Thank you for having me back on.
There'll be no arm wrestling between you and I today because you beat me quite heavily last time and you let me win.
Sophie in the room, yeah.
You don't want to mess with Sophie. That's a dangerous move. So how does competitive arm wrestling work exactly? I know you went through this like 6 months ago with me, but just remind me how it works.
I mean, it's very similar to what you would do in school. You know, we do have separate rules to do with fouls and other fouls, but at the end of the day, it is just dragging your opponent to the opposite side of the pad. A lot of competitive arm wrestling right now is tournament based, you know, meaning you have double bracket tournaments, everybody comes in, one man leaves. Yeah. Or you could have it more like MMA, where you'd have multiple rounds of one person, and then through that time, you know, you can improve, you could get better, get worse. It's very tactical in that point of view.
So the only kind of real rule then is elbow has to stay on the table.
That's correct.
And that's it. And then it's just a case of
pretty much
get the arm in the right place and you've won.
That's correct, yeah.
What sort of training do you have to do then to become a good arm wrestler? Because is it all about having strong arms?
No, so it isn't. So, you know, in the word arm wrestling, the second part of that is wrestling. It is more of a martial art than it is a strength sport. And there is a lot of coordination, there's a lot of techniques going on. You know, some techniques can defeat other techniques. So a lot of our training is it's just sparring, essentially. You know, we have a dedicated rule where if you're the stronger person, you will let the weaker person pin you, get you down to the pad, and you give them just enough pressure, you know, for them to develop the muscles, but you would never drag them over. That is the main gist of it. It's just sparring, and it's constantly sparring, drilling those muscle memory connections into you.
Is it a bit like a game of chess then? Are you sort of planning a move and thinking, if I do this, they'll probably do that, and then I can finish it with this?
It very much is. And just like in boxing, you know, you can throw feints, you can throw hooks, jabs. There's certain techniques that will work against certain people, and certain ways you can trick an opponent into thinking you're doing something and then switch last minute, and that's how you defeat them.
That's where the skill comes in.
Yes, yeah.
I remember when we had an arm wrestle when you came in last time, I'm pretty certain I remember you saying that you are pulling towards you and not to the side.
Yeah, I always say it's the opposite of boxing, where in boxing you're trying to generate force through your foot, going into your hip, then your shoulder, and then your arm. Yeah. Arm wrestling's the opposite of that, where you start with the hand, you drag it through the shoulder, then your hip, then your leg, and you're trying to pull everybody towards you. And just through the pendulum swinging, it will get down to the side if you just pull backwards, because the lever is a fixed point.
Yes, of course. So you keep the power and then it will go in the right direction. Correct. Tell us about Oxford Arm Wrestling then. What sort of stuff do you do in the group? When do you meet? You know, what's a typical evening there?
Yeah, great. So we train every single Sunday at 5 p.m. We're extremely lucky. We have a dedicated gym that we're able to use for free. It's quite a large space. We meet there every Sunday, and as I said, last session on Sunday we had 23 people. And that involved people from Wales, coming over from Milton Keynes, Swindon. Wow. It is becoming a big activity. And it's a very relaxed session. You know, we go in, there'll be some people that are taking it a bit more seriously, some people taking it a bit less seriously. And we're just trying to have fun and educate everybody and keep everybody safe.
You've had quite a lot of success since we last spoke. Yeah. Not just numbers. I mean, you are being recognised on the UK and Ireland scene and all received gold medals at Swindon regionals. And you've taken golds, 2 golds, 1 silver, 6th place at the UK and Ireland novice nationals as well. I mean, where's it stopping? You're just going hell for leather.
That's the point. It is just a start for us. When I came in February, we're very much a budding club. People knew us because we had the big space, but they didn't necessarily recognise us as arm wrestlers internationally or even within the country. Whereas now we've taken very seriously. We started going to all these events. We have a dedicated group of maybe 3 or 5 of us that are relatively good. And as I said, we did very well in Swindon. It was a highly competition. Big Loss attended there. Lauren Charlet, famous strongman. Yeah. He trains in Swindon. And then this nationals, it was a very big shock for us because it was the biggest nationals ever. Wow. The actual weight class, my weight class, had over 40 opponents in it.
40?
40 people in my weight class.
Wow.
It was the biggest nationals that UK has ever had. And And saying that even just outside of our club, the UK scene has grown exponentially. There's Adrian O'Dwyer in Ireland. He won the Worlds. A couple of our friends in Milton Keynes, they got junior championships in both the Worlds and the Europeans. So I guess it's just that old case that, if you train with the strongest people, you're bound to get stronger.
Yeah, of course. I mean, do your friends kind of, because they know what you do, I'm sure you must have moments where they're like, oh, let's have an arm wrestle then. Or do they just know that you're good and they don't go anywhere near you?
No, I mean, people obviously challenge us. As I said, same if you're a professional boxer or a martial artist, even if you were to spar with your friend, you wouldn't be going as hard as you could.
True.
My biggest goal is to get people involved in the sport, so I wouldn't get them on the table and try to rip their arm open.
Instead, you'll probably show them how to beat you.
Yeah. And actually, I find if I let them beat me, it gets into their head, and then they're more likely to come back to training.
That's a good way of thinking about it, to be quite honest. Now, you are also trying to get the word out that arm wrestling isn't just for men.
Yes.
Tell us what you're doing this weekend.
Well, I think that's one of the biggest reasons I wanted to come on today. Last Sunday, we've had one of the biggest sessions of the year. 23 people attended. 6 of those were female arm wrestlers.
Great.
Some of them are professional, some of them are not professional. And now we are starting to get that regular uptake of females coming to the Sunday training sessions. And I would just like to expand that, because I do feel a lot of girls are scared that it's a manly sport. They'll develop massive arms and big hands and all that, where it's absolutely not true.
Skill.
It is just skill, and you won't get bigger. And the sessions are so wide that we have juniors there, we have other ladies there. It's not an intimidating space, and I'm not trying to make it.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And if anyone's listening then, and they do want to pop along to Oxford Arm Wrestling and just see what you're all about, how can they do it? What do they need to do?
Yeah, so, I mean, the best way to contact us is via our Instagram. If you go on the PAA website, the Professional Arm Wrestling League, they do list contacts for all the clubs. So maybe you're in Oxford shopping today or for other reasons. Just go on there, find your nearest club. They will have contact details there. My number is listed on the website if somebody wants to call me up. Alternatively, as I said, Instagram or any other means like that. We're on all the social media. We're on YouTube now as Arm Noobs with a Z.
Brilliant.
So that's a great place to find us. And that's obviously kicking off big time.
Amazing. Well, you're going from strength to strength. You're not stopping. And I'm sure we'll be chatting to you again in the next 6 months or so with some bigger stories. That would be great. Tom, thank you so much for popping in, and good luck.
Thank you, Adam.
All right. It's 12:21 on BBC Radio Oxford.